Ahoj, ja som lektorka Kika a ty počúvaš podcast Prakticky anglicky. Mojím cieľom je pomôcť ti na tvojej ceste k plynulej angličtine a ukázať ti, že učenie sa jazykov je skrátka lifestyle. Tak čo, si ready? Hello, fellow travel enthusiast. Dnes som si pre teba pripravila ďalšiu časť cestovateľských denníkov. Toto leto sme spolu s mojím priateľom vyrazili autom po krajinách Balkánu a práve o tom, čo sme videli, zažili, čo sa nám páčilo, ale aj nepáčilo, bude táto epizódka. Epizóda je nahraná v angličtine a prepis epizódy nájdeš na blogu. Na mojom súkromnom instagramovom profile Vohnutova môžeš skúknúť celý fotoreport vo výbere Balkans. Have you ever been on a road trip? If you are nodding your head, then you probably know that long drives can really wear you out mentally and physically. We needed to be smart about how we scheduled our stops. We wanted some chill time, but didn't want to miss out on the opportunity to explore the places we were passing through. If you've never been on a road trip before, here is a valuable tip. Always add around 2 hours to the estimated travel time from Google Maps. You'll encounter traffic jams, rest stops for bathroom breaks and meal breaks along the way, which can easily extend your journey. Also, don't overestimate how much driving you can handle in a day. Based on my experience, I wouldn't recommend driving for more than 8 to 10 hours per day. For instance, during our trip, we typically kept our driving sessions to around 4 to 6 hours at a time. When we traveled from Belgrade back home, the journey that was supposed to take approximately 6 hours ended up taking us 9 hours due to crazy traffic at the Serbia-Hungary borders. So, planning for extra time can make your road trip much more enjoyable and less stressful. Our plan was to hit up Bosne and Hercegovine first and then head over to Dubrovník in Croatia. We had our sights set on spending most of our time in Montenegro with a mix of beach and mountain vibes. Finally, we were gonna wrap things up by checking out Belgrade in Serbia, which is about halfway back home. Everything went as planned. These places, except for Dubrovnik, are a little cheaper than what we are used to in Slovakia, and therefore we were able to afford a longer trip. Bosnia might not be at the top of everyone's travel list, and there are valid reasons for that. It's not exactly a tourist hotspot. You'll find some areas packed with tourists, but then there are those quieter spots that don't offer much in terms of attractions. Bosnia and Herzegovina has potential, though it hasn't lived up to it just yet. There are a few hidden gems we discovered though. Our first overnighter was at Plivsko jezero, this charming lake tucked amid the mountains, a real treat. Not too far from there, you'll come across a small town called Jajce. It was pretty smelly, to be honest, and not in a nice way when we visited. But here's the thing, it's home to a truly stunning waterfall and cascades. It's worth stopping by. Our next destination was the historic city of Mostar. This is where the tourist crowds start to gather, so be prepared for that. But don't let that deter you, because Mostar has many picturesque spots to explore. It's situated along a river, and if you are lucky, you might witness a brave person jumping off one of the bridges into the water. There are plenty of restaurants and small shops, making it a nice place for dinner and a leisurely walk. Our last stop in Bosnia was Kravice Waterfalls, and trust me, you don't wanna miss this one. The entrance fee is around 12 euros, but it's worth every penny. You can even take a dip in the water, but we passed on that since it was pretty packed. But let me tell you, the views were absolutely stunning. It's a real natural beauty. Oh, and it only takes about 10 minutes to walk down the stairs to reach the falls. I bet everyone's heard of Dubrovnik, a captivating coastal city in Croatia. But here is the deal. It can be a pricey place from services to accommodation. We ended up staying in one of the towns nearby called Nova Mokošica, where you can catch a bus directly to Dubrovnik city center, saving you a good 20 to 25 euros or more per person per night. You'll find plenty of apartments and restaurants there, making it a smart move. But let's get back to Dubrovnik itself. It is a stunning seaside location, and if you are a Game of Thrones fan, you are in for a treat with some filming locations and themed shops. But the absolute highlight? Taking a cable car up to a nearby mountain during sunset. Trust me, it's a jaw-dropping experience. And don't miss the war photography exhibition. It's a must-see. If you are not looking to spend hundreds of euros there, a day trip to Dubrovnik is enough to soak in the atmosphere and see the most interesting sights. I've got a hilarious Google Maps story to share. So, as we were making our way down to Montenegro, we started getting these rather unexpected directions. Turn right, turn left, and oh, take the ferry. We weren't quite prepared for that twist, but you know what? It turned out to be a sound decision. The ferry ride cost us just 5 euros and shaved off a bunch of travel time along the coast. When it comes to Montenegro, it's truly a hidden gem. While places like Budva and Kotor can get pretty crowded with their charming old town centers and narrow streets filled with restaurants, the real charm lies in exploring a bit further. We decided to skip the more commercial beaches and relied on advice from locals and fellow travelers on their blogs. So here are my recommendations. Veselo Beach, just a 5-minute walk from street parking, offers a peaceful escape with fewer crowds. It's best to avoid weekends when the locals tend to visit. You can rent a kayak and explore the caves in the bay. For those who love tranquil and untouched beaches with a maximum of 10 people, Zagorski Piesak is a must visit. Don't forget to bring your own snacks and plenty of water. Plavi Horizonti is known for its sandy beach, however, that is way too crowded. But if you venture a bit to the left, as we did, you'll find a wild beach with massive rocks after a 10-minute walk. If you want to experience authentic Montenegro and avoid the touristy crowds, it's best to steer clear of beaches like Jaz and those right in Budva. Exploring these hidden coastal treasures is where you'll discover the real beauty of Montenegro. Some other places you should definitely visit in the area are Mogren Fortress, the best views of the surrounding area, a nice photo spot as well. Kotor cable car. For an unforgettable experience, take the cable car ride up to Kotor during sunset. The panoramic views are absolutely stunning. I think this one was even better than the one in Dubrovnik. Sveti Štefan, this picturesque island, is a real gem, but take note, it's better to reach it on foot rather than by car. You definitely don't want to spend 30 minutes waiting in a car queue, which we did. When it comes to dining in the area, it's wise to not set your expectations too high. While you might stumble upon a few good restaurants, many places tend to focus on meat dishes, and the overall service quality can be a bit lower than the European standard. That's a wrap on our coastal adventures. Time to hit the mountains. On our way to Durmitor National Park, we made a pit stop at a viewpoint overlooking Skadar Lake. You can actually drive down and take a boat ride if that's your thing, but we decided to pass. Nevertheless, the view was absolutely stunning. Our next stop was the Ostrog Monastery, built on the rocky cliffs of a mountain, but be ready for large crowds and lots of cars. After a few hours on the road, we arrived at Žabljak. It's the perfect base for your mountain adventures and trips in the area. In Žabljak, you'll find a variety of shops and restaurants to explore. Despite these conveniences, the town maintains a peaceful and relatively quiet atmosphere, especially if you choose to stay in the streets around the central area. All the services in the mountains are a bit cheaper than on the coast. Our first adventure took us over to Tara Canyon, the second deepest canyon in the world, where we went on a zip line. I was absolutely terrified, but having my boyfriend ride there with me was the only reason I managed to go through with it. Looking back, it wasn't as scary as I thought. It was over so quickly I hardly had time to realize. Afterwards, we decided to hike down to the river in the canyon and take a dip in the ice-cold glacier water. The next day, we explored Lake Vražje, famous for its unique ring-like colored water. It's a bit tricky to describe, so you should definitely check out some pictures online. We also took a cable car up, the third cable car, I think, of this trip, to Savin Cook, which sits at around 2,300 meters above sea level. From there, you can spot Bobotov Cook, the highest peak in Montenegro. My boyfriend even hiked to the top the next day, though he mentioned it was quite challenging with some risky rock climbing sections. Despite that, it still remains the most popular hike in the area. The Durmitor Ring, a scenic drive with goats, cows, horses, and majestic mountains left me absolutely speechless. Čierno Jezero, another hotspot in Durmitor, was perfect for a leisurely walk. We decided to explore the area on mountain e-bikes. But here's the funny part. We initially planned to do a route called 4 Lakes, which the bike rental company recommended. Turned out it was completely impossible on bikes, despite the recommendation. Nevertheless, riding the e-bikes was enjoyable. You just need to choose a different route. To sum up our Montenegro road trip, there are a few more things I'd like to share. First, I wasn't quite prepared for the scarcity of highways, which made the drives a bit more demanding and time-consuming. Second, there were far too many stray dogs and cats in the area, which was truly heartbreaking to witness. Lastly, since many of these countries have mountainous terrain, if you are prone to motion sickness or nausea, be sure to pack some medication to prevent discomfort. Oh, and if you are a coffee lover, keep in mind that you'll find just a few good coffee places. Let's wrap up with Belgrade, the final stop on our journey. If you are looking for a vibrant city to spend a weekend in, Belgrade is the place to be. It's a metropolis that features a variety of diverse restaurants with a unique character, fantastic coffee spots, and a touch of history. While you're there, don't miss the opportunity to visit the Belgrade Fortress. It's a huge complex that offers a delightful walking experience. One last important tip: you won't need to exchange money. We found that you can pay by euro or card almost everywhere. Just be sure to ask in advance if they accept these payment methods. Ok, to už bude naozaj všetko. Ak si sa dostala až sem, ďakujem za vypočutie. Verím, že si načerpala dostatok inšpirácie a pomohla som ti rozhodnúť sa, či tieto krajiny pridáš na svoj zoznam, alebo nie. Do počutia v ďalšej epizóde. Ak sa ti dnešná epizóda páčila, daj mi o tom vedieť. Nájdeš ma na webe alebo Instagrame v popise podcastu. Počujeme sa next time.